My husband found the photos last Tuesday. Not the ones I meant to keep, but the ones I told him I'd deleted years ago. The ones of Tyler, my ex from college. The ones where we're tangled up in his dorm room bed. The ones where his hands are, well, they're exactly where you'd think they'd be in photos a 20-year-old would take with her boyfriend. I'm sitting in my sister's guest room in Denver now, scrolling through apartment listings I can't afford, wondering how I managed to destroy 12 years of marriage in 12 seconds. That's how long it took for Daniel's face to change from confusion to recognition to something I'd never seen before. Something that made my stomach drop like I was falling off a cliff. But let me start from the beginning, back when I still had a home, a husband who adored me, and a secret I was too arrogant to properly bury. Daniel and I met at a marketing conference in Seattle 8 years after Tyler and I broke up. He was everything Tyler wasn't. Stable, mature, ready for commitment. Where Tyler had been wild nights and uncertain mornings, Daniel was Sunday brunches and 5-year plans. I fell for his reliability, his dad jokes, the way he actually listened when I talked about my day. We married 2 years later in a small ceremony in Napa Valley. His vows made me cry. He promised to be my safe harbor, my constant, my home. I promised to be honest, faithful, and true. I meant it at the time, mostly. The thing about Tyler was that he never really left my system. Even after we broke up, he cheated, surprise, surprise. There was this pull. We stayed connected on social media, commenting on each other's posts with inside jokes nobody else understood. When he'd message me every few months, usually late at night, usually after a few drinks, I'd respond. Nothing serious, just catching up. At least that's what I told myself. Daniel knew Tyler existed, of course. I'd mentioned him as my college ex, the one who broke my heart, the reason I had trust issues when we first started dating. Daniel, sweet understanding Daniel, held me when I cried about it and promised he'd never hurt me that way. He even said he was grateful to Tyler in a weird way. If that relationship hadn't ended, we never would have found each other. What Daniel didn't know was that I kept a folder on my laptop, hidden 3 subfolders deep, labeled Tax Documents 2019. Inside were photos, screenshots of conversations, videos, not recent stuff. I wasn't actively cheating, but reminders of what Tyler and I had. The passion, the intensity, the way he could make me feel like I was the only woman in the world even while he was probably texting 3 others. For years, it was harmless. A little nostalgic scroll when Daniel was traveling for work. A quick peek when I was bored. Like keeping a diary from high school. Embarrassing, but not dangerous. Daniel trusted me completely. Never went through my things. Never questioned when I'd close my laptop quickly as he walked in. Then, Tyler moved to Denver, just 40 minutes from our house in Boulder. He messaged me the day he arrived. "Guess who's in your neck of the woods? Would love to catch up over coffee." I should have told Daniel immediately. Should have shown him the message, laughed about it together, maybe even suggested we both meet him so Daniel could put a face to the name. Instead, I deleted the message and told Tyler I was busy. But I wasn't strong enough to block him. The messages kept coming. Funny memes, memories of our time at Ohio State, photos of his new apartment with its mountain view. Then one night, while Daniel was at his brother's bachelor party in Vegas, Tyler sent a photo that made my breath catch. It was him, obviously fresh from the shower, towel slung low on his hips, that crooked smile that used to make me melt. "Remember when you used to steal all my towels so I'd have to walk around like this?" I stared at that photo for 10 minutes, typed and deleted a dozen responses, finally settled on, "Those days are long gone, Tyler." "Are they, though?" he replied immediately. "I'm single, you're married, but are you happy?" The correct answer was to block him immediately, to tell Daniel the second he got home, to recognize this for what it was, a threat to everything I'd built. Instead, I typed back, "Of course I'm happy." That didn't sound convincing. We texted until 3 in the morning. Nothing explicitly sexual, but dancing around it, testing boundaries. He told me about his failed engagement, how his fiancée never understood him like I did. I told him about feeling stuck in suburban life, how sometimes I missed being young and reckless. When Daniel came home Sunday night, exhausted and hungover, I acted normal. Made him soup, listened to his stories about the bachelor party, curled up with him to watch a movie. But my phone was face down on the coffee table, and my heart raced every time it buzzed. The coffee happened 2 weeks later. I told Daniel I was meeting a potential client. Wore my conservative work dress, the one that made me look professional and untouchable. Told myself it was just coffee, just catching up with an old friend. Tyler was already at the cafe when I arrived, looking exactly like his photos, but better. The years had been kind to him, his jawline sharper, shoulders broader, that mischievous glint in his green eyes unchanged. When he hugged me, holding on just a second too long, I felt 22 again. "You look exactly the same," he lied beautifully. "So do you," I lied back. We talked for 3 hours. He made me laugh until my stomach hurt, reminding me of parties we'd crashed, professors we'd tormented, dreams we'd shared lying on his tiny dorm bed. He reached across the table once, fingertips barely grazing my hand, and I felt it everywhere. "I miss you, Jenna," he said as we stood by our cars. "I know I messed up back then, but seeing you now, do you ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't been such an idiot?" "Tyler," I warned, but my voice was weak. I know, you're married, I respect that, but if you ever—" He didn't finish, but his meaning was clear. I drove home in silence. No radio, no podcasts, just the sound of my heart hammering against my ribs. Daniel was cooking dinner when I walked in. The scent of roasted asparagus and lemon filled our kitchen, a smell that had always meant comfort, and my stomach twisted with guilt. He'd set the table with candles, opened a nice bottle of wine. "How'd the meeting go?" he asked, kissing my cheek. "Great," I said, hating myself. "Really great." That night, while Daniel slept beside me, I opened my laptop, went to my hidden folder, added the photo Tyler had sent, the towel photo. Told myself it was just one photo, it didn't mean anything, but it was like a dam had cracked. Tyler and I texted constantly now, careful to delete our conversations, but getting bolder. He'd send photos from the gym, I'd respond with selfies that were just a little too flattering. We reminisced about our physical chemistry, how explosive we'd been together. "My bedroom has this amazing view of the mountains," he wrote one afternoon while I was supposed to be working from home. "You should see it sometime." "Tyler, we can't," I typed, even as I imagined it. "We're not doing anything wrong, just talking." But we both knew that wasn't true. Daniel started working on a huge project, putting in 12-hour days, traveling twice a month to Chicago. He was stressed, distracted, but still tried to be present when he was home. Still brought me flowers every Friday, still asked about my day, still reached for me in bed even when exhausted. I should have appreciated him more, should have seen what I was risking. Instead, I saw opportunity. "Daniel's in Chicago Thursday to Sunday," I messaged Tyler one week. "Is that an invitation?" "No, just information." "What if I happen to be at Rosario's Thursday night, our old spot?" Rosario's. The Italian place where we'd had our first official date freshman year. Where he'd tried to impress me by ordering wine and the waiter had carded him immediately. Where we'd laughed so hard the elderly couple next to us had complained to management. "That would be a coincidence," I typed, already knowing I'd be there. Thursday came too fast and too slow. I changed outfits 4 times, finally settling on jeans and a red sweater he'd bought me senior year. I told myself I was just going to dinner, just remembering old times. Daniel had texted from Chicago. His meeting ran late. He was grabbing room service and crashing early. Told me he loved me, missed me, couldn't wait to be home. I texted back red hearts and drove to meet another man. Tyler was waiting at our old booth in the back, bottle of Chianti already open. When he saw me, his whole face lit up like Christmas morning. "You wore the sweater," he said softly. "You remembered the sweater," I replied, sliding in across from him. Dinner was dangerous from the start. Every story led to another memory. Every laugh brought us closer to crossing lines. His foot found mine under the table, and I didn't pull away. When he refilled my wineglass, his fingers brushed mine deliberately. "I've thought about you every day for 10 years, he said over tiramisu, the dessert we'd shared on my birthday senior year. Every woman I dated, I compared to you. That's why nothing worked out." "Tyler, don't," I whispered, but I was leaning forward. "I have to. Jenna, I know you're married. I know this is wrong, but I'm in love with you. Still. Always." The words hung between us like a grenade with the pin pulled. A voice in my head, the one that sounded like Daniel, screamed, "He cheated on you once. He'll do it again." I could have diffused it, laughed it off, reminded him and myself why I was wearing wedding rings. Instead, I reached across the table and took his hand. "I know," I said simply. We sat in his car for an hour after dinner, talking, not touching but wanting to. He showed me photos of his apartment, the view he'd mentioned, his new life in Denver. I told him about feeling restless, how Daniel was perfect on paper but something was missing. "What's missing?" he asked. "The fire," I admitted. "The passion, the feeling like I might die if I don't touch you right now." "Jenna," he breathed. And suddenly we were 20 again, magnetic, inevitable. The kiss was everything I remembered, and more. 10 years of wondering, of what-ifs, of comparison exploded in that moment. His hands in my hair, mine clutching his shirt, windows fogging like we were teenagers. When we finally broke apart, gasping, reality crashed back. "I should go," I said, not moving. "You should," he agreed, pulling me back for another kiss. I didn't go to his apartment that night, but only because the last shred of my conscience held on. Drove home shaking, took a cold shower, slipped into bed like I hadn't just detonated a bomb under my life. The guilt lasted exactly until Tyler texted the next morning. "Can't stop thinking about last night. When can I see you again?" Daniel came home Sunday, excited about landing a huge client, talking about bonuses and maybe finally taking that trip to Greece I'd always wanted. I smiled and nodded and felt like the world's biggest fraud. The next few weeks were a twisted dance. Coffee with Tyler when Daniel worked late. Lunches that ran too long. Always public, always technically innocent if anyone saw us. But the tension was unbearable. Every meeting ended with longer kisses in parking lots, hands wandering further, promises to stop that we both knew were lies. "Leave him," Tyler said one afternoon as we sat in his car outside a Starbucks. "We're meant to be together. You know it, I know it. Stop pretending." "It's not that simple. We have a house, a life, 12 years together." "And you're miserable." "I'm not miserable," I protested, but even I didn't believe it anymore. The photos started again. Tyler would send pictures that weren't quite explicit but left nothing to imagination. I'd respond in kind, thrilled by the danger, the desire, the feeling of being wanted so desperately, all saved to my hidden folder, my own private collection of betrayal. Daniel noticed something was off, asked if I was okay, if work was stressing me out, if we needed to talk. Each time I assured him everything was fine, watched relief wash over his trusting face, and hated myself a little more, but not enough to stop. The breaking point was Daniel's company retreat. A long weekend in Aspen, spouses invited. I'd known about it for months, had my dress picked out, spa treatments booked. Then Tyler texted Thursday morning. "I'll be alone all weekend. My apartment, that mountain view, you." "Daniel's retreat is this weekend." "Skip it." "I can't just skip it." "Food poisoning, migraine, emergency with your sister, you're creative." He was right. I was creative. Creative enough to convince my loving husband that I'd gotten violent food poisoning from sketchy sushi. Creative enough to fake rushing to the bathroom, to make retching sounds that had him rubbing my back with genuine concern. "I should stay home with you," Daniel said, sitting on the bathroom floor with me. No, absolutely not. This retreat is important. I'll be fine, just need to sleep it off. Are you sure? I hate leaving you like this. Go, I insisted, flushing the toilet for effect. I'll probably sleep all weekend anyway. He packed reluctantly, left Gatorade and crackers on my nightstand, kissed my forehead gently. I love you. Call if you need anything. Love you too, I mumbled into my pillow, Oscar-worthy in my performance. I waited exactly 1 hour after his car pulled away before texting Tyler. I'm free. Come over now. I need to shower first. Had to wash off the guilt, the lies, the remnants of my fake illness. Shower here, he replied, and my whole body flushed. I threw clothes in a bag. The lingerie Daniel hadn't seen in months, the dress Tyler loved in college, perfume I rarely wore anymore. Left a note on the counter about going to my sister's to recover, just in case. Covered every track except the ones that mattered. Tyler's apartment was exactly what I'd expected. Modern, minimal, floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing Denver's skyline and the mountains beyond. But I barely saw any of it before he was on me, pressing me against the closed door, kissing me like he was drowning, and I was air. I've wanted this for so long, he breathed against my neck. Me too, I admitted. And it was true. I'd wanted the excitement, the passion, the feeling of being desired like this. We didn't make it to the bedroom the first time. Barely made it to the couch. 10 years of tension exploded in desperate hands and breathless promises, and the kind of recklessness I thought I'd outgrown. Afterwards, lying on his living room floor, wrapped in a throw blanket, staring at those famous mountains, reality tried to creep in. What are we doing? I asked quietly. What we should have done years ago, Tyler replied, pulling me closer. You're going to leave him, right? We can be together now. Really together. Tyler, don't overthink it. You're not happy with him. You are happy with me. It's simple. But it wasn't simple. Daniel's face kept flashing in my mind. His smile when he brought me coffee in bed. His concentration when assembling furniture. His terrible dancing at weddings. 12 years of inside jokes and shared dreams and quiet contentment. I need time, I said finally. How much time? I don't know, this is a lot. Tyler was quiet for a moment, then kissed my shoulder. I've waited 10 years. I can wait a little longer. We spent the weekend in a bubble, ordered takeout, drank wine, made love on every surface of his apartment. He played guitar for me like he used to in college, badly but with enthusiasm. We talked about the future, the places we'd travel, the apartment we'd share, the life we'd build. I let myself imagine it, pushed down the voice screaming that I was destroying everything. Sunday afternoon came too fast. Daniel would be home by evening, expected me recovered and waiting. I stood at Tyler's door, both of us reluctant to break the spell. When will I see you again? He asked. Soon, I promised, kissing him goodbye. I just need to figure some things out. I love you, he said, serious as a heart attack. I love you too, I replied and meant it. Or I thought I did. It's hard to tell the difference between love and nostalgia mixed with lust. I raced home, showered again, changed into pajamas. Was heating soup when Daniel walked in, looking tired but happy. Feeling better? He asked, setting down his bag to hug me carefully. Much better, I said into his chest, smelling his familiar cologne and feeling like a monster. Missed you, he murmured. Retreat was good, but weekends away aren't the same without you. Missed you too, I lied, lips still swollen from another man's kisses. The next 2 weeks were torture, living a double life, sneaking texts with Tyler while cooking dinner with Daniel, lunch dates with my lover, movie nights with my husband. Tyler growing impatient, pushing for more time, more commitment. Daniel oblivious, planning summer vacations and talking about maybe trying for kids soon. Kids. The word made me physically ill. How could I bring children into this mess? But when I mentioned it to Tyler, he lit up. "I want kids with you," he said over stolen coffee. "Little girls with your eyes." "Tyler, I'm still married." "Then get unmarried. What are you waiting for?" What was I waiting for? The right moment? The courage? The guarantee that trading 12 years of stability for passion would work out? I didn't know, and Tyler was tired of excuses. The photos got more frequent, more explicit. Messages at all hours. "Thinking of you at 2 in the morning. Need you," while I sat across from Daniel at dinner. I saved everything to my hidden folder, a digital shrine to my betrayal. Then Daniel decided to surprise me. He'd been working insane hours on his Chicago project, missing dinners, distracted even when home. I'd used it as justification for my affair. He was neglecting me, choosing work over us. Convenient lies, I told myself, between Tyler's sheets. That Tuesday started normal. Daniel left early for the office. I worked from home. Had plans to meet Tyler for a late lunch that would definitely run long. Then Daniel texted at 11. "Wrapped up the Chicago project, taking the afternoon off to celebrate with my beautiful wife, be home in 20 with champagne and that Thai food you love." Panic. Pure, cold panic. "Oh, babe, I'm actually not feeling well. Think I'm getting a migraine." "Perfect timing then. I'll take care of you. Already left the office." I scrambled to cancel with Tyler, who was furious. "You're choosing him again." "I'm not choosing anyone. He's coming home. What am I supposed to do?" "Tell him the truth." "Tyler, please." "I'm tired of being your secret, Jenna. Figure out what you want." Daniel arrived with flowers, champagne, and my favorite pad thai. Set everything up on the coffee table, pulled me onto the couch, told me how the client had specifically praised his dedication. "Couldn't have done it without you," he said, kissing my temple. "I know I've been absent lately. Want to make it up to you. Thought maybe we could look at Greece trips, or that new sushi place you mentioned." "That sounds nice," I managed, stomach churning. "Actually, first, let me upload these files. The client wants everything digital." He grabbed my laptop before I could protest. "Mine's in the car." "Daniel, wait!" But he was already opening it, already typing in the password he'd known for years because I'd never felt the need to hide anything from him. I watched in slow-motion horror as he navigated to the documents folder. Where are your client folders? Mine are always right." He clicked around, frowning. "What's this tax folder doing in your photos?" "Probably just misplaced." He clicked. The world ended. The folder opened to dozens of photos, videos, screenshots. Tyler's towel photo at the top, thumbnail unmistakable. Daniel's hand froze on the trackpad. "What is this?" His voice was so quiet I almost didn't hear it. "Daniel, I can explain." He clicked on a photo. Tyler and me from last weekend, tangled in his sheets, my face clearly visible in the aftermath of ecstasy. The timestamp showed Saturday afternoon when I was supposedly at my sister's recovering from food poisoning. "Who is this?" Still that terrifying quiet voice. It's Tyler, my ex from college." Daniel scrolled. More photos, each one worse than the last. Screenshots of our conversations, explicit messages, promises of love and forever. His face went from confused to shocked to something beyond pain. "How long?" he asked, finally looking at me. His eyes were empty. "Daniel, please, it's not what you think." "How long?" The shout made me jump. 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. "Daniel, I'm so sorry. I never meant—" He laughed, bitter and broken. "You never meant what? To take photos? To save them in a folder labeled as our taxes? To fuck him while I was working my ass off for our future?" "It just happened." "Nothing just happens." He stood, laptop crashing to the floor. "You made choices. Every text, every meeting, every lie. You chose this." "I know. God, I know. But Daniel, we can work through this. Couples therapy, whatever you need." "Couples therapy?" He laughed, a short, sharp sound with no humor in it. "You think therapy fixes this?" I was planning our life while you were planning to leave me for some guy who already cheated on you once. I wasn't planning to leave. Don't. Just don't. He grabbed his keys, phone, wallet. I need to get out of here before I say something I'll regret. Where are you going? Away from you. He paused at the door, shoulders shaking. 12 years, Jenna. 12 years I loved you, trusted you, built a life with you. And you threw it away for what? For him? Daniel, please. But he was gone. The door slammed hard enough to rattle the pictures on the wall. Our wedding photo, vacations, family gatherings, all lies now. I called him 20 times, straight to voicemail, texted apologies, explanations, pleas for him to come home. Nothing. Tyler called an hour later. Have you told him yet? I'm tired of waiting, Jenna. He found out, I said numbly. Good. Now we can be together properly. Tyler, my marriage just exploded. A marriage you were unhappy in. This is good, Jenna. Now we can start our real life. But sitting in my living room, surrounded by the debris of Daniel's discovery, the laptop still open to those damning photos, the champagne warming on the table, the Thai food congealing in its containers, I didn't feel free. I felt hollow. Daniel came back at midnight. I heard his key in the lock and flew to the door, but he held up a hand to stop me from coming closer. I'm here to pack some things. Don't talk to me. Daniel, please, can we just... I said don't talk to me. His voice was ice. Every word out of your mouth is a lie anyway. I watched him pack methodically. Clothes, toiletries, laptop, the watch I'd given him for our anniversary. He avoided looking at me, jaw clenched so tight I worried he'd crack a tooth. I'll stay at my brother's tonight. We'll figure out the details later. Details? House, accounts, divorce. The word hit like a physical blow. I'll get a lawyer. You should too. Daniel, don't do this. It was a mistake, a horrible mistake, but I love you. He laughed, harsh and humorless. You love me? You don't destroy people you love, Jenna. You don't humiliate them. Lie to their face every day. Make them feel crazy for sensing something's wrong. I never wanted to hurt you. But you did. Every choice you made hurt me. And the worst part? His voice cracked. I would have forgiven almost anything if you'd come to me. If you'd told me you were unhappy. If you'd been honest about wanting out. But this? Sneaking around, letting me plan our future while you were planning your exit? That's cruel, Jenna. That's just cruel. He zipped his bag, headed for the door again, stopped without turning around. I loved you more than anything in this world. Would have done anything to make you happy. All you had to do was talk to me. Then he was gone. Really gone. I sat on our bed, my bed now, and called Tyler. He left, I said when he answered. Good, I'll come over. No. The word surprised us both. I need to think. Think about what? We can finally be together. Tyler, my marriage just ended. I need space to process this. Space? Jenna, I've been waiting. Please, just give me a few days. He agreed reluctantly. But Tyler had never been good at patience. The texts started within hours. Thinking of you. Can't wait to hold you. We're going to be so happy. But I wasn't happy. I was numb. The house felt wrong without Daniel, too quiet, too empty. His coffee mug in the sink made me cry. The indent on his side of the bed made me sick. I called in sick to work Wednesday and Thursday. My boss was understanding. I'd never missed time before. Spent those days in pajamas, staring at my phone, willing Daniel to respond to my messages. Nothing. His brother did text, though. You're a real piece of work. He gave you everything and you threw it away for some loser? Don't contact him again. Or me, or any of us. The family group chat I'd been part of for a decade went silent. His mother, who'd treated me like a daughter, blocked me on social media. His sister, my friend, texted simply, I can't believe you did this to him. We're done. 12 years of relationships, gone overnight. Friday, Tyler showed up uninvited. You weren't answering my texts, he said, pushing past me into the house. I told you I needed space. It's been 3 days. I've given you space. He looked around, taking in the lived-in comfort, the photos still on the walls. We should talk about where we're going to live. My place is nice, but if you prefer something bigger... Tyler, stop. What's wrong? This is what we wanted. What you wanted, I corrected, the fog lifting slightly. You pushed and pushed. I pushed? You kissed me back. You came to my apartment. You made those videos, Jenna. Don't put this on me. He was right. I'd made every choice, stepped willingly into every betrayal. But standing in the home I'd shared with Daniel, Tyler looked different, smaller, less like a grand passion and more like a selfish mistake. I think you should go, I said quietly. Are you serious right now? Your husband left. You're free. We can be together. I don't know if that's what I want anymore. His face darkened. You don't know. I turned my whole life upside down for you, moved to Denver for you. And now you don't know? You moved for your job. I took that job to be near you. Everything I've done for 10 years has been about getting you back. And now that I have you... You don't have me, Tyler. You had some of me. The worst parts, actually. The parts willing to lie and cheat and destroy good things. So what, you're going back to him after all this? He won't take me back. I killed that possibility. Then what's the problem? The problem was that in the harsh light of consequences, Tyler looked exactly like what he was. A man who pursued a married woman, who pushed boundaries, who wanted what he couldn't have more than he wanted me. And I looked exactly like what I was, a woman who threw away real love for an ego boost and some excitement. I need you to leave, I said firmly. Jenna, come on, we're meant to be together. No, we were 20 and stupid together. That's not the same thing. He argued, pleaded, eventually stormed out, promising I'd regret this. But I already regretted everything. The divorce papers came 2 weeks later. Daniel, efficient even in Heartbreak, had already separated our finances, figured out the house buyout, made it clean. No drama, no revenge, just the surgical removal of me from his life. I met him at a Starbucks to sign papers. He looked tired, thinner, but calm. You look good, I said stupidly. Don't do that, he replied, sliding documents across the table. Sign where highlighted. Daniel, I know you hate me, but I need you to know how sorry... I don't hate you. He sounded exhausted. I nothing you, Jenna. You killed whatever I felt. Sign the papers. I signed, hands shaking, 12 years reduced to signatures and date lines. For what it's worth, I said as he gathered the documents, you were the best thing in my life. I just didn't realize it until I destroyed it. Yeah, well, realizing it now doesn't help either of us. He stood to leave, then paused. I hope you get whatever it was you were looking for. I hope it was worth it. It wasn't. Nothing about any of it was worth what I lost. Tyler didn't give up easily. Flowers at my office, messages about second chances, showing up at places he knew I'd be. But the spell was broken. Without the thrill of secrecy, without the backdrop of my stable life, he was just a guy who wouldn't take no for an answer. I ended up blocking him, threatening a restraining order when he wouldn't stop. You're making a mistake, he said in his final voicemail. We're meant to be together. But we weren't. We were meant to be a lesson in what happens when you let nostalgia and ego override commitment and kindness. 6 months later, I saw Daniel at a farmer's market in Louisville. He was with someone new, a pretty brunette who laughed at something he said, whose hand he held carefully, like something precious, the way he used to hold mine. Our eyes met across the crowd. For a second, I thought he might acknowledge me. Instead, he turned to his girlfriend, whispered something that made her smile, and led her in the opposite direction. Away from me. Away from our past. Away from the wreckage I created. I left my basket of overpriced vegetables and walked to my car, sat in the driver's seat and cried for 20 minutes. Not dramatic, gorgeous tears like in movies, but ugly, snotty sobs for the life I threw away. My phone buzzed. For a wild second, I thought maybe it was Daniel. Maybe seeing me had stirred something. Maybe it was my sister. Still coming for dinner Sunday? Jim's making his famous lasagna. Yeah, I texted back. I'll be there. Because that's my life now. Sunday dinners at my sister's, trying not to be the tragic divorced woman who ruined her own happiness. An apartment in Denver that's nice but not home. Work friends who don't know the full story, who think Daniel left me. Nights scrolling through old photos, torturing myself with memories of when I had everything and didn't know it. Tyler's moved on, according to mutual friends. Dating a yoga instructor, seems happy. Good for him. Daniel's girlfriend posted about their trip to Greece last month. The Greece he'd wanted to take me to. They looked perfect together, her head on his shoulder as they watched the sunset in Santorini. And me? I'm the cautionary tale. The woman who had a devoted husband, a beautiful home, a good life, and threw it all away for some texts and stolen afternoons with an ex who was never worth it. The hidden folder is gone now, deleted in a moment of clarity months ago. But it doesn't matter. The damage was done the moment I created it, the moment I chose to keep secrets instead of talking to my husband about whatever was missing. Because here's what I learned too late. The fire I thought was missing wasn't gone. It had just evolved into something deeper, steadier. The warmth of someone who knows your coffee order, who saves you the last bite of dessert, who chooses you every single day. I had that warmth and traded it for matches that burned everything down, including myself. So when people ask why I'm single, I tell them the truth. My husband found photos on my laptop. Photos I never should have taken, from an affair I never should have had, with a man who was never worth losing everything for. But I did lose everything. And the worst part? I have no one to blame but myself.